computer. Excellent. I am recording. All right, I'm now going live on Instagram. Hi, everybody. Drew Mulvey here. I am so excited that you have come to join me during your lunch break, especially on a Friday. I am super excited to talk to you today about some of the benefits of the summertime, particularly from the bounty of the earth, and also being outside more, how that can really benefit you, especially with your athletic performance and your overall health, so that you're really getting and chasing your goals, getting to and chasing your goals. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to what the talk is going to be about today. It is going to be the benefits of red foods for athletic performance, particularly why they are beneficial during the summertime season as well. What benefits of being outside and being in nature is going to be not only be doing physically, but to the mind and to the spirit as well. And then how to use some of those red foods. One in particular is in season, which is my absolute favorite. And I'm going to be giving you some details on that as to why it's very important for athletic performance, important for decreasing inflammation, and just it's delicious too. So with that in mind, I'm just going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Drew Mulvey. I am a certified dietitian nutritionist. I'm a board certified nutrition specialist. I am a certified LEAP therapist, which is a specific food sensitivity protocol based off of mediator release testing. It's about 92% accurate and specific for what you are sensitive to, as it measures 3 different hypersensitivity reactions and not just one, and the mediators from them. I've done it before and it is amazing. I have seen amazing results with people with a lot of inflammation. It also helps with migraines, IBS, and athletic performance. I'm a precision nutrition level 1 coach, which is more oriented towards holistic sports nutrition. I am also a certified personal trainer. I train here in town in Southbury at Body Physics. So if you are around town and you're looking to get in shape, you're really looking for optimal athletic performance and to supplement your performance or athleticism with a little bit of resistance training, I'm your girl and I would love to work with you. All right, so for today, what we are going to be talking about, the original title for this was Women's Health Nutrition, the benefits of red foods and summertime fire. So why exactly am I referring to fire? Well, I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but let's talk about the summertime. So we have just transitioned into the summer solstice as of June 21st. Who is excited about that? Unfortunately, it's been a little cool around here for the summertime, which is a little unusual, but the temperatures are actually starting to get a lot better, which is great. Now, what's one thing that's associated with the summertime? We're all outside of the 4 walls and we're emerging. It's like we're coming out of hibernation. We're like bears. We're like bears. So not saying that we should be one with the bears outside, because I know that there's been a lot of spottings. Yes. But we are really coming out of our hibernation. We're really coming and immersing ourselves outside and doing a lot more activities outside. So this is actually really incredibly beneficial for our health, being outside, especially because it's actually connecting us with nature and can not only help us physically, but as I said, spiritually and emotionally as well. In fact, one of my favorite books that I constantly go back to refers to this time as it's the time for the bounty of the outside world to enter and enlighten us. Oh, that just captures the season so well. And as an athlete, you need all of those aspects as well. So how is that it's actually playing into our athletic performance and especially the bounty of the earth? Well, the bounty of the earth, if you think about it, we're us eating nature too. So that's working from the inside out. So that's how you can apply some of these things. Now, I like to apply traditional Chinese medicine principles to my practice. I've actually used the concept of food energetics a lot to nourish certain organ systems, to nourish the mind. And usually the way that the food is cooked or prepared, or even the components in food, can actually affect how you're thinking, how you're digesting food, how you're how you're sleeping. It could be several different things. And I think it's so cool. And it's usually linked to emotions as well. So with that, traditional Chinese medicine equates the summertime with the fire element. So this fire element is really great because it's a time that you can find your true identity and get really creative. So that's one of the things, actually, if you had seen earlier this week, I did advertise for my resilience boot camp that I had put on. Finding your truest identity is not only going to be helping you spiritually, which is really important as an athlete. It's going to be helping you mentally, but it's also going to be helping you physically too, because it's another stressor that if you're constantly comparing yourself, that's one of the things that I hear all the time is the comparison is a robber of joy, and you need to have joy in your life, excitement, laughter. That's what the summertime is all about, and the fire element harnesses that. So in this resilience boot camp that I am going to be opening up to everybody, it's only $27. I really talk about breaking those labels. So as athletes, we tend to be overachieving, we tend to be perfectionists, we tend to be goal getters, and sometimes we put ourselves aside and we don't listen to our bodies. So we commonly fall under maybe type A personalities, INFJ or ENFJ. So we're the encouragers as well. But there's certain characteristics under each of those personality, should I say personality traits or personality labels? Yes, I'll say personality labels that we identify with. But the problem with that is if we start identifying with these things, especially if they're negative things, then we can start to really believe that about ourselves, and we can actually get comfortable in that and start making excuses. Now, one of the things as an athlete, you don't want to be making excuses. That doesn't mean that you grind yourself to the ground, which I personally, I admit it, I've done that before in the past, but you have a level of self-discipline that you know that you can overcome these things and you can challenge yourself. Yes, that's awesome. So by being able to harness that and really get a hold of that, that's going to, that your mental game for your athletic performance is going to change dramatically. How you are practicing, how you are training, how you actually know yourself, how you're using components around you, especially self-care, and how incredibly important you are when you have that goal in mind that you're so worthy of attaining it, then you go to a new level, which is so awesome because summertime, truest identity, resilience boot camp all goes in hand. So if that sounds like you, definitely check that out, a resilience boot camp. I will be putting, for those of you on Facebook, I will be putting the link in the comments. And for those of you that are on Instagram, I will be putting the link in my bio. So what else does the summertime bring? Well, summertime is associated not only with the fire element, but it's also with the heart as well. Yes, you're really getting to the heart of things, especially if you're trying to find your truest identity during this time. So usually the heart element, or I shouldn't say the heart element, but the heart, the organ in particular, it's associated with red foods. So incorporating red foods during this time to really nourish the heart is going to be very helpful. But your heart, as we think about it, it's super important. It keeps us alive, right? It helps us by bringing oxygen to our muscles, bringing nutrients to our muscles, so we're recovering properly. Obviously, our heart rate is going to determine how our cardiovascular rate is going to be, and our stamina and endurance is going to be. But it's also responsible for our emotions. It's responsible for our mind. It's responsible for our consciousness, and even with sleep too. So if any of those things tend to be off a little bit, then that can significantly impair your athletic performance. Especially when it comes to mindset, you need to have a really good mindset around the training so that it doesn't, you don't get unmotivated. And it can be hard sometimes, especially now. Right now, I am a week and a half out from my first triathlon, and it has been really hard training, and mentally you just got to push through, and I know that I just have to push through. So kind of being able to see that in a realm of, I'm going to challenge myself, I have a goal in mind, I'm also going to give self-care. So I'm totally talking about the resilience boot camp that I talk about these things too. But another way that you can incorporate the bounty of nature, not only immersing yourself in nature, you can eat it. Yes. So red foods is associated with nourishing this heart and nourishing the heart of the matter. So that could be apples, organic cranberries, That could be organic red peppers. That could be organic strawberries. Actually, I just went strawberry picking and they were, oh my gosh, so delicious. Beets are also excellent. Beets are great for post-workout because they actually help with the production of nitric oxide, and they're a natural source of arginine as well. So the arginine is what helps to produce the nitric oxide, which helps to dilate the blood vessels, and that will help the blood to get to the organs and to the muscles quicker. So that helps with recovery. Now, one of my favorites is actually in season 2, which I'm going to talk a little bit further about, cherries. That's really good. And it's actually really good for nourishing you as well. So how can these bread foods exactly be so beneficial, especially for not only your heart, but your athletic performance? Well, red fruits are an excellent source of vitamin A and vitamin C. These are incredibly potent antioxidants, but vitamin A in particular, ladies, this is going to be great for you because it actually protects the ovary from inflammation. And then vitamin C, on the other hand, is very good for joint health as it helps with collagen cross-linking. It's a potent anti-inflammatory as well to actually help with your immunity and keep inflammation down and keep those reactive oxygen species down that are generated from our sport and training, and also lifestyle stressors too. And also, a lot of the red foods are rich in several minerals such as potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, sodium, and copper. So copper, we don't really hear much about, but that's really important for immunity, and it's actually important for dopamine production. So why am I talking about dopamine? And the reward, it has nothing to do with the reward center, sorry. But dopamine helps us with our focus, it helps us with our mood, and it helps us with our sleep. So that's exactly, didn't I just mention that? Oh yeah, it has to do with the heart. Oh my gosh. So dopamine and the heart are actually interconnected. Some of the other minerals that are really important for athletic performance, particularly magnesium and potassium, those are going to help prevent muscle cramping, and they're also going to help regulate your heart rhythm. Calcium and magnesium in particular can be taken together at night, and it really helps to calm you down so you get a better sleep. And obviously, iron is going to be beneficial for your energy because iron helps to carry oxygen through your body to your muscles and to your organs so that you're recovering properly as well. So interestingly enough, there's some other benefits as well. So I constantly talk about detox, and I've talked about methylation a lot. So raspberries, I didn't say that. Raspberries are another really good red food. And about 100 milligrams of raspberries in the 100 milligrams serving, or excuse me, 100 grams serving, there is folate. It's a good source of folate, and folate is really important for methylation. So that's going to be really important for detoxification. It's also going to be very, very important for your brain as well. So you want to make sure that you're methylating properly. That's really big. That's been huge lately about methylation. Now, also, out of all of the red foods that they looked for, I just read a review. Blackberries and cherries reign the top. And yes, cherries are going to be the one that I am talking about because they are my absolute favorite. Why is it? Well, okay, so let's dive into the cherries. Cherries are actually a natural source of melatonin. So melatonin is our neurotransmitter that helps us to sleep, but it's also a potent anti-inflammatory. In fact, melatonin can really help us to recover from those really hard workouts by decreasing inflammation. So not only is it going to help us with our sleep, which will help us with recovery and repairing our muscles, but it's also going to decrease that inflammation that's associated with long bouts of training too. And especially since now we're all outside, we're probably going to be running longer, we're going to be riding longer and longer distances as well. So that's really important that you do have that component in your diet. Another thing that cherries are touted for is their wide array of antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which is excellent for decreasing inflammation. Actually, interestingly enough, I just read this research article. We commonly hear about tart cherry juice being really good for joint health and decreasing inflammation, particularly those with joint pain. Well, in this recent study, subjects administered 480 milliliters of tart cherry juice over the course of 12 weeks demonstrated significant decreases in inflammatory proteins, such as C-reactive protein and malondialdehyde. Oh my gosh, I said that right. Yes. I'm sorry. That was a victory for today because I always get that wrong. Melandaldehyde. So that one in particular, C-reactive protein and melandaldehyde are inflammatory proteins. C-reactive protein, if it is elevated, that's commonly elevated in heart disease, but the melandaldehyde is actually commonly elevated in rheumatoid arthritis as well. So that's an inflammatory protein that actually helps to decrease that inflammation. It's amazing for recovery. Actually, that's one of the things that I use a lot for recovery. I use either cherries before a workout or after a workout, and I put them in a protein shake, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Actually, not that much later, probably in a minute or two. But also what we were covering is the nutrients that are in each of these red foods, and a lot of them are electrolytes. So potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium. Chloride, I did not talk about. That's also another electrolyte too. And so what are electrolytes? Well, they're compounds that carry an electrical charge through an actual aqueous environment. We are an aqueous environment on the inside, so it helps to carry that electrical charge. That's why potassium and magnesium help with heart regulation. That's why sodium also affects our heart. That's why calcium affects our heart. But if you think about electrical signals, we also need those in our brains as well, and we need those for our muscles. So if we are deficient of any sort of electrolytes, then we're going to feel it in our muscles. Now we're going to be working out a lot more outside and probably sweating a lot more. So we're losing some of those electrolytes, even sodium. So incorporating some of these foods, these red foods into your diet, incorporating them into, I would say, even like a water when you are working outside is going to help you dramatically, and also adding a little bit of sea salt in there too. Personally, I do like Noon tablets. I incorporate those into my my water when I go cycling or when I go running. I sometimes have a little bit of maple syrup and lime juice with a little bit of sea salt in there just to have that electrolyte drink. But another great way that you can actually incorporate the red foods. Okay, was it a minute? 30 seconds? A minute? Add watermelon to your water. That's going to give you all those electrolytes. Add a little sea salt in there, and it's going to give it some flavor too. Oh my gosh, watermelon is like, that's like the ideal summertime food. You think of summertime picnics and you think of watermelon. So you can add a little watermelon, infuse your water with a little watermelon, add a little bit of sea salt in there. There is watermelon water that you can get to that it's just as good as coconut water, particularly for potassium. Potassium is really important because it's going to help prevent muscle cramping, but also magnesium is going to help that muscle cramp with that muscle cramping as well. Some other ways to incorporate the red foods. So I talked about a recovery protein shake before with cherries. So my favorite recovery protein shake, actually, it's with beets too, but I use a beetroot powder. That's also in my dispensary. So I use human beetroot powder. That's one of them that you can get in my dispensary. It doesn't have like that dirt kind of flavor that kind of turns people off with beets. It's actually very good. So you incorporate that into a protein shake and mixed berries. So cherries and blueberries, I really like to do a little bit of sunflower butter. So that has vitamin E, and that's also another potent anti-inflammatory that works with A, C, and E. Actually, the combination of the three are more potent as anti-inflammatories together than them alone. So it's good to have that all together. And you're getting the red foods and you're getting the vitamin E from the sunflower seed butter. So you get all your bases covered. You put a little cocoa powder in there with a beetroot powder, and that helps with the production of nitric oxide. So it's delivering the blood to the muscles quicker, so you're recovering quicker. A little chocolate protein, because you need protein to be able to replenish the muscles as well. And I add in a little bit of maple syrup in there because, especially after a really long ride, your body is going to need those simple sugars, because after about 60 minutes of intense workouts or 90 minutes of steady state, your glycogen starts to decrease, and your glycogen is actually the fuel for your muscle. Trust me, you will feel it when that glycogen runs out. And if you don't feel properly, and you don't feel properly during the workout and after the workout, then it's going to significantly impact recovery. I have a personal story about this. Last week, I was on a bike ride. I did phenomenal for the first hour and a half. I did not have my raisins with me. I did not have my electrolytes. I did not have my sugars, and I tanked. The last half an hour was not good. So really important that you are repleting yourself and you're replenishing yourself. And if you are an endurance athlete, don't be afraid of maple syrup, or I bring dates or raisins, or you can do dried cherries. Actually, since we're talking about red foods, dried cherries are going to be super important. But yeah, that's one of my absolute favorites. And then have some fun too. Make some watermelon salads. I was talking recently about a watermelon mojito. So you use some watermelon, lime juice, a little bit of mint, and some carbonated water. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. And also, for those of you that are training, you're probably keeping your alcohol consumption down. So this is really great if you're around other people that are enjoying their alcoholic beverages. This is a great mocktail for you. Okay, so with that in mind, I think that I covered everything. So summertime is the time to nourish your fire element, and it's a time of creativity and really finding yourself, which I had talked about earlier. I do have my resilience boot camp, which you use all these different components to be really able to break the label and find your truest identity. That's not only going to help you spiritually, but it's also going to help you physically, as it's going to teach you how to train properly and also how to rest properly and recover properly as well. So you really need that with the mindset. The summertime with the fire element is also associated with red foods. So incorporating those in: strawberries, cranberries, watermelon, cherries, apples as well. Beets in particular. Beets are going to be excellent. We talked a little bit more about cherries, why I like them so much. They're a really good source of vitamin C, which helps with that collagen cross-linking and the joint health. But cherries are also very good for antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins. The research paper did show that tart cherry juice after a workout actually helped to decrease C-reactive protein and malondialdehyde, so inflammatory proteins that commonly are associated with sort of joint pain. So it can really help with recovery. Some of my favorite recipes, and also the importance of electrolytes, because a lot of the red foods actually have potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium in them. And those all help with electrolyte balance, fluid electrolyte balance in your body. So if you're retaining fluid, it's good to have some of those red foods as well. You want to be repleting, especially because you're going to be sweating more. So sodium is going to be important for you, and potassium and magnesium is going to prevent that muscle cramping. So you're really getting optimal nutrition and you are performing your best as well. Okay. Yay and happy summertime. I hope that everybody is truly enjoying. We are finally in the season, so it's time to go to the beach, time to go on those hikes, time to go on those long bike rides. All right. Well, with that in mind, I'd just like to reintroduce myself. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for coming in and supporting me. That means so much to me. I hope that you learned a lot today. And if you incorporate any of these red foods, please, please do share them with me, because I love seeing people's creations. Again, my name is Drew Malvi. I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist. I'm a board certified nutrition specialist. I'm a certified LEAP therapist, which is a specific food sensitivity protocol based off of mediator release testing. It's about 92% accurate and specific, and it has been very beneficial for IBS, inflammatory conditions, migraines, and particularly athletic performance. I'm a precision nutrition level 1 coach, which is more holistic sports nutrition, and I'm also a certified personal trainer. I personally work with overachieving active females, athletic females between the ages of 15 and 38 to enhance energy and stamina by balancing hormones, by repairing their guts, by managing or preventing symptoms of autoimmune conditions so that it doesn't come up later on. But I really, really help to repair one's relationship with food so they see it as fuel and fun, and that they're really seeing the optimal athletic performance and they're really able to chase their goals without having the fear of food. Super important, because you have goals. Food is going to be your best friend, especially whole foods. So I am here. If that sounds like you, I would absolutely love to speak further with you, you can set up an icebreaker call with me. Right now, that is in the bio. So check from time to time because I do switch that out. Unfortunately, I can't put two links in there at once. Or you can just direct message me and you can set up an icebreaker call and I can also get that link to you. If you are also interested in the resilience boot camp, it's only going to be $27, then please DM me, or you can click the link that's in my bio. I believe that's there right now. So you can sign up and then you'll have access to the Facebook group. So it's a set of 7 different videos and there's new disciplines each day, which is really awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that resilience boot camp. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday and enjoy the weekend. Take care.